All right, congratulations there, Legacy. Legacy may have won that, but the real loser was Spawn. He he had it by the end of that one.
There was a slow descent into total madness coming out of Spawn. The one win condition he had in his mind was game time, and that didn't go his way. That was it. That was it for Spawn. There was nothing left to talk about.
Just end the game. Like anytime you hear him going into like coach mode, then you just go and then when when Legacy do back off, and then he's just like and you go, all right, well, we're in for a couple more of that. Look, what can you say? Exactly what Legacy want. You don't want to fall down to a team that just got eliminated from playoff potential. So they take whatever momentum they can from that.
Yeah, Legacy with a speedrun game, right? And they looked clean. It looked easy from them. They just played a good game of League of Legends, and you can't fault them. They got top in ahead. He's definitely making a statement once again to say that he is by far the best top laner that we have in this league. And that is an example, an exhibit of exactly what he is capable of if the team works around him. AV played the champions that we kind of wanted them to play. You know, they played a lot of their own individual flair-style champs. Yeah. But it wasn't nearly enough, wasn't close to enough, unfortunately, and they definitely suffered as a result.
Well, obviously, Legacy will be going on for the final game of the night to face up against Chiefs, who one can only hope will put up a bit more of a fight for them there.
That's a big one,
Nick. A taste of what we can see. It is a big one.
If Direwolves win the next game, which they play against the Chiefs, so that game coming up right at you now, if Direwolves win that, they have the advantage and will be in the 4th place position in playoffs, unless Chiefs beat Legacy. And imagine being Chiefs and staring down that Legacy and thinking we have to win this game.
Absolutely. I love this. I love where we have this kind of stakes as we go throughout the night, just as games are being knocked off, and you're just going. Teams are seeing what's coming up ahead of them and what they have to play for, and obviously some teams getting eliminated before they even get a chance to step out. There's just so much drama. It's very exciting. It's exactly. I mean, this is the kind of thing we like to see in the OPL. The other thing we'd like to see, obviously, is cardigans, but we'll talk to someone in the off season about that. Spawn, mate, you can shut up. I don't know if that was on broadcast, but you pride yourself as being like Melbourne is filled with cardigans. I just want to say, Melbourne is a fashion-forward city.
Yeah, and I think there's two kinds of people. There's people that wear cardigans, and then there are people that look good. And I think that when you're a part of an esports organization, you want to be a part of the latter group, Nick. That's all I'm saying.
Look at you're slouched in your chair. You're like just
much like Avant Gaming. I am defeated today.
Yep, that was my intro to the segment. The real loser was Spawn because you just fell off a cliff there towards the end of that game. But yeah,
look at what I've had to cast today. Like I've had 3 very one-sided games of League of Legends, including one in which my own team got clapped. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, you guys obviously hit on the game. But can we talk about MVP, or have you got a segment?
No, we can talk about it. We're gonna finish off LCK, but we can smash through that.
Someone, like, he has to win it. Surely Topoon has to win this Splits MVP. It was a travesty that he didn't win last Splits MVP. Like, is there a better player in the OPL right now that is not Topoon?
Yeah, that's the question, right? Because if you ask me, I think Ayla is in the top 3, definitely, in terms of who I would consider an MVP, given the split that he's had. I think he's like a major catalyst if you're going split-to-split improvements. But maybe even he just gets the most improved instead, right? Because Topoon's been just a beast.
Yeah, I think, like...
Claire?
Yeah, Claire's had good moments, but they're like nearly 50-50, right? Like, what are they? They're 11 and 8. I feel like you can't have like a 50-50 lineup and get it. I feel like it either, like, I think there's an argument to be made for Parbu, right? Because if the definition of most valuable player is actually most valuable player,
that's true.
Pentanet were not very good at the end of last split, and now they're
almost single-handedly
outright.
Turned a team around.
Yeah. So I think like it has to be Parbu. I would go with Topoon. Or I agree. I think Ayla has been like the catalyst of Order's success, and he's a big part of the communication, right? But like that's only because I know that he's there. But I think like if you're going to pick out of those three, like I just don't see how you don't give it to Topu. And multilingual. Like I do this every now and again. Sales pitch to international people. He speaks good enough English to be a good teammate. Everything I've heard about him, he was a lovely teammate last year, and he's a great teammate this year. And he speaks fluent Korean as well. So if you have Korean-speaking people on an English team, he can help with the translation there. Or he could just go play Korean CS, because he is definitely too good for the OPL, and he's not on my team, and therefore I want him gone. Preferably by next week, Talent Scouts.
Well, there you go. A good argument for Topoon to not only be most valuable player, but also most valuable person, because we do put a value ranking on human life here on the OPL, and Topoon is better than everybody else. All right. Kneebasher says, Cardigan's rule, don't take fashion advice from a guy who wears parka jackets inside. Respect, man. I mean, to be fair, you're the only person in the chat who has ever said anything. The dead animal that you have.
That's... okay.
A parka. No, to be fair, I actually like that jacket, and I think you look really good in it. But a parka, the definition of a parka, right, is just like it's a cold weather jacket. It's like a wind cheater. I'm looking it up right now. You can't open this box and not
that
close
sounds
it up.
like some kind of American thing. Parka.
It's definitely American.
I'm going to put my parka on and go for a stroll.
A large, windproof jacket with a hood designed to be worn in cold weather. Quote, he pulled on his fur-lined parka, ready to brave the elements. Or if he spawned, he pulled on his fur-lined parka and sat down in front of his computer.
Because Jenna likes the house at 16 degrees Celsius, because she's got a person inside it that makes her warm.
All right. Well done, Legacy, and we look forward to seeing you again at the end of the evening. Let's jump into the LCK. This is it. This is the final region. We made it. I mean, this was our goal.
Round one.
Yeah, but round two is total bullshit. Like round two, I'm completely I'm making smoke. It's gonna be nice and tight. Or we do it proper, and we just like.
Why can I hear it but not see it?
I know, I could hear it as well, and I was like, can the chat hear it? I don't know. So does that mean we're going to throw to the opening title sequence now?
The sun's out, the crowd's ready. Let's wreck it!
It seems your chances of survival are less than zero.
Are you the hunter or the prey?
Good. Cover up those disgusting tentacles. This is the Void Edition. This is the end of the line for round one. I mean, I think you guys are making a very good point. We should just slog this thing out. This has become a bit now. Like, it's one of those jokes that is funny and then stops being funny, and then it goes on too long and then it becomes funny again. Right?
Yeah. Now it has a cult following that only like 20% of chat like it, but they will defend it vehemently, and the 80% they just go get coffee during this time of the show.
Statistically, chat is more engaged with this segment than they are with anything else within the broadcast. It is this, and it's an Echidna are the two segments that statistically chat pop off on. So there you go. You call yourself League of Legends fans, chat. You're not. You're fans of ranking champions and facts about creatures. Rusty, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, the problem is we've made a promise. Because when you made this segment, Nick, the first thing you said is, on finals, we're going to declare a winner. So you've set a timeline, and now we're stuck with the timeline.
But
this is the last
a year.
Day. Oh, he didn't give a year. I guess there's a loophole there.
That's true. We could do this. We could do this every week for years.
And then they have to bring us back, because we're the only 3 people that can vote on the LCK.
It's true.
That's true. Because Kimmy has taken a vow of silence because of the fight that he and I had. All right, I've been told it's 3 minutes to champ select, so this is going to be a really fast edition of LCK. Match 1, Cho'Gath versus Kassadin. Who we liking?
Cho.
I like Cho.
Yeah. There you go.
That's
quick
what I'm
and
talking
easy.
about.
Just Cho.
Speed. Before chat could even do anything.
Was he your
Cho'Gath
first legendary skin, Rusty?
Gentleman Cho?
Yeah.
I think he was.
Up you go.
Nom.
Rob Goblin says, let me know when to unmute the channel to skip this segment. Good on you, mate. Okay, congratulations, Cho'Gath. I mean, 84% of the vote in chat. No one likes Kassadin.
Wyatt!
So that's a shame. That's a shame. Okay, round 2. Kha'Zix versus Kai'Sa.
Oh, it's got to be Kai'Sa. I don't know. I like Kha'Zix, but I wouldn't pick Kha'Zix in this battle at all.
I
It's
wouldn't
got to be
pick
Kai'Sa.
Kha'Zix for anything. Like, just there's too much drippage coming out of that man.
I love Kha'Zix. Like, he's like the alien, and he adapts and changes good guys, and then he can upgrade things, and he
aliens
like
that adapt.
he upgraded first before Kai'Sa. If anything, Kha'Zix is like the original Kai'Sa.
Pulling the OG card.
The Kai'Sa wins easily, hands down. I agree with Rusty.
Damn it.
I don't want to see Kha'Zix anywhere near the next 40 rounds.
What I want to know
game.
is why did the Void that took over Kai'Sa's suit that should, like, the Void is so aggressive and destructive, leave her beautiful still?
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe she was so unbelievably beautiful that it just knocked her down to normal beautiful. Like what happened with Rusty.
Could I make a contract with Nick?
I don't know, but send me their details. All right, matchup number 3. It's Kog'Maw versus Malzahar.
Kog'Maw. Malzahar is a crap champion. And so
100% Kog'Maw. You know why as well? Because he's got Christmas skins and he sings a Christmas song in one of them, and it's perfect, and I love it, and he is great.
That is an excellent reason. That is an excellent reason to vote for anything. Is Christmas Spirit, and then the final matchup for the Void Edition. It is Rek'Sai versus Vel'Koz.
Rek'Sai versus Vel'Koz. Okay, I'm going to go with the Land Dolphin.
I just like that sentence.
That's what
Yeah.
she is. She's just a Land Dolphin.
Rek'Sai's great. I like Rek'Sai. I think if I was to pick between these two, I'd rather deal with a Rek'Sai than a Vel'Koz, personally, so that's my logic.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take chat on this. Oh, chat going Vel'Koz. This is, I mean, and this is also the segment that chat are always so engaged with, and they love to put all their opinions in here. So that's a big congratulations to Rek'Sai. Well done, Rek'Sai. Cho'Gath, Kai'Sa, Kog'Maw, and Rek'Sai. There's a lot of apostrophes in these winners tonight, and so that is round 1. Round 1 of the LCK is done. We can put it behind us and prepare to figure out how the hell we seed these people for round 2, whatever that is going to be. But before we get to that, we need to get to game number 4. Chiefs versus Direwolves. As Rusty has alluded to, this is the battle for 4th position and I guess 5th position as well. This is going to be an absolute slugfest, and hopefully we see a little more of a back and forth than we have in the last couple of games. So it is time for Chiefs versus Direwolves, and it is coming up right now with the Macca's Champ Select.
Okay, vs Chiefs. I hope so. Constantly one more center are long way somewhere.
So against Chiefs, there's a pretty big jungle gap. Croc's on mid every time, but hopefully I can win mid lane.
How do you think Croc will do?
Mid gap. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Decoy, you take on the Chiefs this week. How do you think they're going to go?
Well, the split, we are 0-2 against the Chiefs, so I'm excited to get our first win.
The Chiefs, you're up against Thien. How do you think Thien will fare?
Last time I versed Chiefs, I versed Croc Sejuani top as Sion, which I thought would be an easy matchup, but he did solo kill me as Sej, so I'm curious to see what Croc plays top this weekend.
And here we go, jumping into our 4th game of the night, as I'm now joined by Rusty to kick off things here with the Chiefs taking on the Direwolves. And if the Chiefs want to put themselves into 3rd position, they will need to win both of these games.
Yeah, I believe it's 4th that they're fighting for us. PGG should be locked, or is that not true? Let me confirm that. PGG have 1 more game left. Yeah, they need to win this game. There's also the second part of that one, Skibby, where they're fighting to stay in 4th place and not go down to 5th. So that's the last real battle that exists here today. If Direwolves take down the Chiefs, they're actually ahead of them on the standings, and then Chiefs would have to deal with Legacy last to be able to get back that 4th place spot. And we saw Legacy earlier, so you don't want it to come to that. You want to avoid that at all costs.
Yes, certainly do. And the Direwolves already warmed up into a team that are very similar to them. With Order, Chiefs like to play the game nice and fast-paced as well. So we get to see what their response is into them here today. And there is Jinx. There's been a lot of discussion online. Okay, what are you picking into a Caitlyn? Some have said, from what I've seen online, that Jinx is a good option, and have not seen this in such a long time.
Yeah, they actually... So Jinx and Caitlyn are similar, right? Which is one of the major things that is why you could pick a Jinx into it, I guess, right? You've got rockets, so at level 1 you have range. One of the biggest advantages that a Caitlyn will always have is the range edge over her opponents. You know, get a couple of extra auto attacks in, threaten your headshots. Now the headshot will still be an advantage that exists, but really from this Jinx pick into the Caitlyn, you now have to look at the support champions to say what is it that will be the difference maker to actually win the game for this Caitlyn now. They've chosen the Bard here, Skimmy, and there's a really good combo, especially at level 6, with traps on top of Bard ultimates. You can, of course, place the traps on top of Bard stuns, but this does give the counter to Direwolves.
Definitely does give them a counter, and it'll give them a counter also in the mid lane, as Shocker's going to reveal that he's going to be the one to play Syndra. The best Syndra, you'd say, at the stage in the league, with an impressive win rate at 80% over 5 games, just beating out Claire, who sits at 6 games, but 66%. So both are very proficient when it comes to that. And you can understand that Direwolves not willing to showcase that this could be flexed into the bottom lane. No, they want it to be a denial and an enabler that just allows them to do what they do best.
Looking at the support champion potentially here for Direwolves if they lock this one in. A bit more empowerment towards the Jinx, and it does make sense. You know, Caitlyn can be a little bit more self-sufficient, work with a utility champion. Jinx wants to be protected so that she can auto-attack to get the damage off. Lulu's going to be the natural choice here, it seems. And I don't mind the Lulu at all. They're also going to prioritize that support champion before the next ban phase. So right now, no junglers to be seen. No top laners to be seen as well. And with no flexes really visible on Summoner's Rift here, with maybe Lulu, but very unlikely, these bans will be very interesting.
They certainly will be, and as we get ourselves into that second banning phase to understand what junglers will be removed, one thing we've got to touch upon is that Dragku will be the one playing Bard. We know that Direwolves as an organization love to play it between Cupcake and Decoy when they're here, but it's not a pick that you start to say that is a Dragku go-to. Like what we've seen in recent games, that has been very much on the Nautilus or Set hype train.
Yeah, I mean, Dragku has a very interesting champion pool that's kind of diversified over time in different ways, right? Like he came in as a Yuumi one trick, but then started to play top lane champions in the support role in a sense. I love the Set as an example. Had the Karma in there to mix success, and they've banned that one away here as well. But the Bard being the champion of choice, now I do believe that he has been playing a decent amount of this in solo queue, so this isn't unfamiliar in general. But picking it in stage games is a different beast, if you asked me as well, because Bard is variable. It either wins the game for your team or loses the game for your team in so many ways that now the pressure starts to move towards Dragku, not just Katsuri in this 2v2, to really step up.
It certainly does, because we can see now that the bans that are coming through, those next 4 are all there to find picks, to isolate members out. Jarvan, Camille, obviously with their ultimates, the Death Realm, the Sonic Wave into the kick as well, that a Lee Sin can possess. So definitely the gank-heavy junglers in the Jarvan and Lee Sin, and the scaling champions in that top side of the map, that will be favoured to Chippies. But Tien is no stranger to it. The grand reveal here, what are we going to get coming out of the Chiefs? Are they going to showcase what their top lane is, or do they need a little bit more time to think about it? No, they're going to go straight in. They want early aggression. They want the Renekton.
And I'm wondering what they're going to play into the Olaf more than anything else. You know, you could go something like the Trundle still potentially, but there's no real tanks to take anything away from. But when you've got the Bard Galio type of composition, I would say it's a possibility. They've got the Hover of Nidalee now, so playstyle-wise, this is matching the fast push, fast clear rather, of the jungle and scaling nicely into the game. Something that can then work in a sense with the Caitlyn as well. So definitely like a one carry composition in terms of play style, but with damage kind of everywhere is the Chiefs comp, and I'm a big fan of it.
Certainly are, because this is a staple that really made a name for himself, especially in that game against Legacy, one of the first OPL Classicos that we had in Split 1, where he was able to single-handedly take control of that game and showcase that, yes, I am that new jungler on the scene. Watch what I can do. So Tempo's going to be in their advantage there, no doubt looking to try and find a lot of strength to match that of the Olaf ganks to ensure that this Renekton can do something, because the Direwolves, back-to-back games. Game 1, they went for the KO. Game 2, they're going to go for the Olaf here. They're all invested in making sure that this Jinx can get out a laning phase and be a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? That's the point that I was thinking of here as well. You've got your ornaments, you've got the potential team fighting that then comes out of just protecting and just empowering the Jinx. It's also that obvious front line that felt more necessary for the Direwolves than just having an Olaf run in, right? Because you want that Lulu to spend more resources, more time, and more effort empowering Jinx, empowering Vital, than actually working with a frontliner to have sticking power there. So you definitely want something like the Ornn. The questions now go to how will Ornn do in general here. You're against your Renekton in top lane, can pressure you decently well and often has the push advantage. And then Nidalee could come up at any time, and you're fragile when it comes to those 1v2 ganks and can definitely die early as mostly a resistance builder early on.
We haven't seen that Olaf come out of Chippies in a fair bit of time right now. It's actually his tied most played champion at 3 games so far, but in the last 8 games, only played it once. That was into Avant when it needed a tank. They definitely did find it when they were there to protect an Ashe in that composition. This feels very much similar, as you say there, ensuring that they can protect this Jinx. And that the Jinx can do the damage. The answers are found when a Caitlyn gets let through. What do you decide to be the response? We've seen Ashes, we've seen Senna's, we've seen Jin's as well. But today, in game number 4, we're going to see a Jinx.
And the major difference is in playstyle, Skimmy, right? So if you think back to the Jin choice by order, especially going for the Manamune in your itemization, you're being played towards. That's the difference, right? Whereas if you go for an Ashe or a Senna, you don't have to be looked at at all. Your jungler can start on the bottom side path away from you, and you should survive. And that does give you the ability to then empower the rest of your map. You know, have a scaling option up there, have your Topoon, Renekton, and just camp that one instead. But this time around, a lot of the focus will be going towards the bot side of the map. Olaf, one of those very few self-sufficient junglers, wants to get low and can find health at any moment by pressing W and Smite. And will be able to play towards the bottom side of the map successfully. And we'll see where junglers tend to meet here. Because I'd rather be an Olaf than a Nidalee pre-6.
Certainly would be, and you can understand why the Direwolves were quite willing to take away that Olaf. It is Croc's most played this season. He's played it 4 times. He's found good success with it when he's had the opportunity as well. So we get to see what he can use, what he can do with it in his hand, as you saw from the pre-game hype video there from the Direwolves. They say that, yep, every single time those 2 have gone head-to-head, it has been Croc finding him and getting this slight edge. Both definitely tempo junglers, so be interested to see as we get back to what Mira can do with this Olaf.
Yeah, a lot of this does come down to early snowball from junglers, like you highlight. So the fact that they've both gone for more of these farm-style junglers is curious. Olaf, of course, to me, is that happy medium. So I'd like to favor Direwolves in that respect. But then you have to look at the laners that are with it. So Shock's playstyle on this Syndra is something to monitor here as well. With the changes to Syndra Q, the mana costs on there, you could be aggressive, you could sit there and harass Claire if you wanted to, or you could push the wave to give more freedom towards your jungler to be able to invade, get camp leads, and start to push himself ahead. So far, we're yet to really see it. Just which direction we're going to go.
Be interesting to see what direction we go, as the Chiefs are definitely respecting the pressure that has been shown their way. A bit of an upset yesterday to the likes of Mammoth. They're going to showcase that Claire has more in his arsenal. Yes, you can still weigh my Syndra, but I can play the Galio. It's his first time playing the Galio all of this year.
Oh, they're threatening for a dive in top lane. It's also been spotted by Chippies. Croc does not come through with a sweeping lens. There is a teleport available for Shock in mid lane, so he's someone that I was actually going to turn attention to. Because they're both teleporting potentially.
Yeah, they're going to teleport in. No, the teleport's actually going to get cancelled. That's an interesting interaction there. Shock's going to cancel it there with the orb stun. So Claire's cooldown goes away. Shock protects his top laner. Chippies lives for the meantime.
Yeah, if Claire's able to get in there, he can engage the fight by using his taunt. It's guaranteed crowd control. He'll have the turret aggro. He'll be able to tank that one up, get himself out to safety. And then it's nearly impossible for Chippies to live in that situation. The other alternative was that Shock matches the teleport. But you can see not the highest mana pool, and I mean, in comparison of impact at level 4, the Galio is going to do a lot more. So very smart decision from Shock. Absolutely saving his top laner there as well. Also saving the teleport and the flash from Chippies, no less. So everything's still available. That's an advantage to Direwolves.
Big advantage, and you saw Chippies also say, you know, I can't wait to verse Croc top lane. Well, the game plan hasn't changed here for the Chiefs. They are definitely investing topside to ensure that not only this Renekton becomes a bit of a terror to deal with, like we saw in the Legacy match, but also to ensure that Croc gets ahead of this tempo, not only can farm, but can gain good success as well. Now, both going to be bottom side of the map, looking to try and achieve what scuttles they can. Both going 1 for 1, as this will be another Renekton that goes to the Conqueror here.
Chippies needs to be very careful here. He wants to push the wave in to get that reset off. Tien has a lot more strength than him though, so a lot of respect to be shown here. Tien has the potential to freeze this as well, to force a teleport out of Chippies if he would like. And that's massive for Chiefs. Tien's able to walk himself back to lane after all the damage that they took looking for a dive. Big advantage suddenly starts to potentially appear in this top lane. Chippies is going to walk here as well, Skimmy. So he's going to lose out on a lot of experience.
He certainly is. He wants to hold on to that teleport for as long as possible right now. The first dragon will be up in 10 seconds, but there's nothing really separating these two at this stage. Yes, we can talk about the fact that Claire had to lose his teleport as he was looking for that dive topside at the level 2, level 3 mark. It'll be interesting to see how these junglers look to navigate now these objectives as to if there's any real priority on it, or if it's all about level 6 right now.
No pressure really being given to bot lane at all, as we'll hold that thought for the moment. Claire.
Oh, that's fantastic by Shock. Prevents the charge back to initiate the flash forwards. Going to be burning that summoner as well. So, Shock with a bit of a heads-up play there, understanding how the Galio mechanics work. Will ensure that Miru is there for the pressure. And that they have now burnt both the teleport and the flash.
Yeah, well played here by the Direwolves. Croc going to have a crack at Shock. He's got jungler reinforcements here, though.
Yeah, Miru is looking to go bot side towards that dragon, but then says, hang on a minute, why are you ganking my mid lane? They're going to flash forward aggressively now, looking for that kill to charge back. This time, it's not a bait. Claire knew exactly what he was doing and sets his team up for success. That's the first blood for the Chiefs. Croc secures it, and he bullies Shock away to prevent a second.
And that's a little bit much from Mir. Steps far too forward. Choosing to use the flash there to guarantee the kill is ultimately going to be his undoing. Croc consistently dealing damage throughout that as well, had the Conqueror stacked up. And that's really tragic, because all of the good work that the Direwolves have been able to do early through their solo laners has now been undone through an advantage that this Nidalee gets on the map in general. And it comes just before level 6, with the potential of a full jungle item now on the horizon here as well. That's going to be a big Nidalee to contend with. Direwolves might be setting their eyes to this Drake.
Certainly might be. As you can see, Miru's going to put himself down a vision ward in that pixel brush. He's going to spot out Chiefs, looking to go start this thing off. And, well, they've got a magical journey. They're going to commit with the teleport. That is what Ornn was holding out for. They're going to say, our time to shine is now. We knew what worked for us against Order. It was ensuring that we were ahead early. Held on to it. And bought enough time to hit the level 11 mark and onwards. They're going to secure the very first dragon here. It's going to be an Ocean. A little bit of extra sustain to help them out.
You can't complain picking up an Ocean Drake for yourself, but when you look at the cost of that trade, Croc I thought might go straight to the red buff. But right now he's taken the Krugs. It's going to tick over to level 6, and we'll see where he chooses to go from here. Because if he's able to get a successful invade off, that would have still been a massive cost in the way of a negative for Mir, but he's going to disengage. So ultimately, it is just going to be the Drake secured. Members on the correct side of the map here for Direwolves, so no contest available. And he's just going to be able to walk it out.
Yeah, potential there for Chiefs to achieve a whole bunch, to really punish Direwolves from investing so heavily into taking that dragon. But no, not going to really throw any haphazard maneuvers onto this map just yet. Not willing to give Direwolves any kind of chance to claim back at this gold lead that the Chiefs have managed to accrue as we hit that 8-minute mark. The lane flips will take place, though, as is tradition, with that Herald spawning. We'll get to see what the payoff is this time around, because Tien doesn't have his teleport either, so these top laners will have to make a run for it, and as you can see, Ornn is the first to do so.
Yeah, Chippies definitely likes to play towards his team when he gets the Ornn. Does actually trend to sacrifice himself a little bit. We're going to start this one off, so Nidalee in base. Galio with no real targets to ult onto. I would say that the Caitlyn's currently stronger than Jinx. If they were to get into this fight having the completed Berserker Greaves over what is just a Cull. But they're not even going to get here close to in time. So once again, Direwolves, finger on the pulse with very good timing for this objective control. They're just going to go from Drake. They're going to go to Herald. He's going to get his full red side jungle as well with no real invade or steal coming out of Croc. Things going well. Considering they're 1,000 gold behind, things going well.
Things are definitely going well, and I'm sure the biggest benefit of that has to be the fact that TN stuck around in the bot lane. The pings went there, said, look, I can get so much pressure by denying this XP, denying these minions. Getting some plates as well. There goes the ultimate, and a Ragnarok will not deny that much. Because that will be Miru falling on down to start this fight off with. Now they're going to catch out a second. Shocker's locked in place here by the Bards. And as it expires, so does his health bar. A double kill picked up by the Mad Lad himself. The MVP of Split 1, Croc, is now 3-0.
Things no longer going well. That very quickly turned around here, Skibby. So, from this position, you know, we spoke about the Herald that was taken by Mir. He spent a lot of time and a lot of his focus towards neutral objectives. And at the same time, Croc's able to come out of the base with his fully completed AP jungle item. He will start one-tapping people, and also now is 3-0. And if there's any player in League of Legends in the jungle role that you could trust to carry when ahead, it has been proven to be Croc. And particularly on this Nidalee pick, he has found wild amounts of success. So this is a dangerous position now for the Direwolves. What was 1,000 gold is now 2, and a snowballing member in the jungle.
It certainly is, and this is Croc saying, don't steal my Olaf next time, because I can play more. You can target me, but there's too much to try and target away. And he has put himself in a very comfortable position now, sitting on that Runic Echoes, looking to go for the recall, looking to get a little bit of extra power. Game on here for Direwolves, looking to utilize the man advantage they will have on this map by summoning the Herald topside and getting as much instant gold as they can find. That'll bait out that teleport. Claire joins the topside fight. Shows that if there were to be a skirmish that broke on out, to maybe guarantee the turret, that it was prevented now.
Yeah, decent teleport there from Claire. He's not going to miss too much in mid lane either. At the same time, Nidalee's just going to full clear her way to top side, so the threat now exists there for Direwolves in their 2v2 up there, especially now that that recall just got cancelled. If Chiefs wanted to be a big nuisance, they can continue to keep the Direwolves down, but nevertheless, things starting to swing the way of the Chiefs, and starting to really do that with force. If the next objective fight, which is the Drake in 50 seconds, goes the way of the Chiefs, then things are swinging back their way hard.
Certainly are. It'll be interesting now to see what Direwolves can look to do, because they're down by 1,500. They'll now be able to match that damage as the Jinx going into the Caitlyn. And we talk about matching, but you might be looking at falling as Chippies takes a fair bit of damage, but between the Balmy Cinder and the Bramble Vest, very difficult to try and take him down. Will be able to survive and actually hang on to his flash as well.
Yeah, Mir's going to be on the opposite side of the map. As long as Katsuri doesn't die going top lane, then things are still good for the Chiefs. The Drake should be a free objective, and no teleports there for Chippies did mean that he's going to have to walk himself back from base towards the bottom lane. Claire's going to move top. Chiefs actually is a grouper up here.
Yeah, Miru's in trouble right now. Going to be forced to burn that Ragnarok preemptively because he knew what was coming. That was going to be a taunt from the get-go. He's just going to quite patiently wait this one out. We might see a flash forward. No, there's the flash just before the Tempered Fate was there. If he didn't evade that, there was a ton of CC with his name on it. Shock is going to take that opportunity to crash another wave, and Chippies is quite content to return back to the bottom lane. So they want to continue farming up here. They're quite content with how things are working and allowing Chiefs to say, well, we've drafted early, we found a lead early, we need to make stuff happen early.
I love this from the Chiefs. The fact that they're going to, instead of taking the free objective in bot lane as the Cloud Drake, they know that Direwolves aren't going to do that as a trade. They know that Olaf's on the opposite side of the map, and they choose to protect Katsuri. That was the one thing that we said could go badly for them if they neglect that Caitlyn, because it could have been a top outer turret and trade for this Drake, and it's not worth it. Why give gold over to Vital? You know, why put money into the hands of someone who could potentially hard carry this game by himself? So they go up top. They really do slow the pace of this game down for Olaf. They keep him down. They delay this turret take by a decent amount of time here also, and give themselves more gold in the process.
Certainly do. They're going to delay this so the wave will not be as favourable for the Chiefs as well, as Croc continues to be omnipresent on this map, ganking from top side, then transitioning that into a dragon that favours them. That means that the dragon counter is now 1 apiece. They're going to take that opportunity to bully out some of this counter jungling as well. The transition through to mid. Get some more gold, as we've got now only 40 seconds left on those turret plates from falling on down. But here comes the Biff! Bit of a trade takes place as the shutdown comes on through. The Ragnarok expires, and Miru getting very low. He's going to fall on down. Draku picks up that kill. A little bit of extra gold for him to utilize effectively. So both junglers will fall on down, but that is just it at this stage.
Yeah, nice little play there from Dragku though. Right place at the right time to ensure that they're able to get that trade at the very least, because that would have been good for Direwolves otherwise. Continuing to push out these lanes is just going to be the name of the game for a while, and while they're looking for these picks, they're just being opportunistic. And it just so happens that Direwolves are ready to take these fights themselves. But now Mir is 0-3 as a result. When we talk about jungle difference games, and the fact that both of these junglers are tempo-based like you mentioned, well, it's very clear to say who has the tempo here.
Yeah, they definitely have a fair bit of it right now. As you can see that both the AD carries are running around like headless chickens looking for any farm they can find. They're looking to try and be the big winners of this chaos that we found ourselves in for the first 15 minutes, as they're going to be the ones that lead the CS numbers. Shock, however, as a result of really sticking to his lane, has found a bit of a lead over Claire, who's been very much on the case of playing to a Galio's strength and grouping up to utilize his taunt, or waiting for a moment to shine with that ultimate.
Yeah, farm leads for the AD carry and mid laner of Direwolves, where the deficit still exists for Chippies. Of course, he has been a part of leaving his lane himself and has had a lot of the focus of the rest of the Chiefs roster coming towards him early, with that potential dive threat and the freeze that existed from TM. So doing his best to stay in this one. Definitely what you would say here for Chippies. At the end of the day, though, Chiefs still with the advantage right now. Waiting for those item spikes, though, before it means anything. Because right now, you've got the Infinity Edge for Jinx. You've got the cashed-in Cull. Extra money goes his way. And you'd be feeling really confident with that one. We're just the component at the moment for Katsuri.
Sure, he'll have that ready. But whilst the waves work in his favour, why not? He's going to push those ones in, as both AD carries are hanging out in the mid lane. And Croc is going to say, you've got to back up a little bit now, because he guarantees the second Herald is online for themselves, and that is going to be all they need with the plates going on down. The headbutt will secure a second turret in their favour.
Oh.
Good fade. Was chucked out there by Dragku, and now he's in a spot above it, forced to flash away very defensively, but there's the bomb, the rocket, it connects. It's the axe of all things that actually kill steals it away. Miri's quite content with that one, but Dragku went fishing. Didn't find what he was after.
One ulti as well, Skimmy.
Yeah, they want more. They are angry. They say you can pick up the Herald, but we want to take you all down. This is the power of empowering a Jinx itself. Out goes the Wild Growth. They run them down. The speed boost from a kill from a Tar acquisition. Just like that, you get a headbutt, you take a tier 1, we're just going to take 2 back.
And if you want to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of the Chiefs draft here, a lot of that comes down to the potential sway that a Bard provides in any game. And this is an example of the negatives that could exist. You take the turret, that's fine. You know, you've got the objective that you're here for, but then they just look for a little bit more, and that little bit was too much. And suddenly the Direwolves flank was there. They've got the numbers there first. They don't need teleport out of Chippies either. There were stun hits from Shock at the same time as the Bard ultimate being thrown out as Dragku steps a little bit too close. And then while he tries to flash away, it's straight into a Jinx ulti. And now there's a 1-0-1 Jinx with the CS lead. The turrets falling in mid lane makes life a little bit more difficult for Claire as well. And it's going to be Katsuri specifically that suffers from that one in mid lane. Opportunities now present themselves for the Direwolves, and we already spoke about the item advantage that they had at that point. It's the Infinity Edge to the components when that fight started.
And now, it's a familiar situation here for the Direwolves. They've been in a position like this already, having drafted a comp that looks to try and scale into the late game. Yes, the 15-minute mark. It was looking like it was all things Chiefs, but with that ultimate there not connecting, and not connecting a second time, this could be their undoing. Out comes the Hero's Entrance, but it's not gallant enough because they're going to fall on down. It's going to be a 1-for-1 so far as one finds one, and Nidalee finds the second. Now a 4v4 takes place, and that Spirit connects, and it hurts. There's one, there's two. Croc, the madman himself, finds himself a triple. He won't get the quad because Katsuri will take one for himself. And as the third dragon spawns, the Chiefs say that was a blip on the radar. We're back in business.
And I mean, I'll be honest with you, Dragku misses his ultimate, and the rest of the Chiefs say it doesn't matter. Let's take the fight. They're able to find victory in that one as well. 4 gone here from Direwolves. Drake going to be secured as well, so starting to build themselves up towards that soul point win condition. But if we're going to comment on this team fight, Skimmy, it seems like Chiefs were on the same page. TN does take a bold engage and suffers for it, but he gets the flash from Shock. And Direwolves want to run. Spear's flashed away. Decoy, Shock, they're all over the wall, and Vital says, don't worry, I'll take the 1v1 million. Steps on a Caitlyn trap and just gets put to sleep. That Jinx tried so hard to make a montage when it just didn't exist. And you don't need the cinema magic to win this game. You just need to keep snowballing. But he picked his moment, and it was wrong.
Yeah, that Hollywood movie won't be coming out anytime soon, but we'll be able to come back to this lane, to the same position where the crime was committed, and now find himself with 2 items. With that Runan's now there for the taking. So we'll get to see what happens next time around. There's no doubt the montage buff might just have to be held on to until playoffs come around, but that has done wonders to the Chiefs for ensuring that what was starting to be a bit of a Direwolves gold lead achieved, go back to dead even again.
And there is still some very serious potential here for the outscaling by the Direwolves, specifically through that Jinx in general, having a Lulu there to support as well. But if that last team fight is anything to go by, my confidence starts to sway in that Direwolves don't feel like they're on the same page entirely with how they played that one out. But still, we've got the 2 items completed now for this Jinx. Going to be doing damage to a lot more people with the Runan's Hurricane on board. Croc 6 and 2 though on the opposing side is cause for concern.
You saw what happened when that spear connected. It was terrifying. That, I want to say, almost saved the fight, because I'm not sure if Vital continued to have the fancy feet there. Might have just been able to live a little bit longer for the rest of his team to wrap on around. Now you can see he's itemized not only into the damage with the rower pickup, he has gone for the Fiends on Holy Grail as well to buff up not only his resistances, but just make some of those heals a little bit more sustainable to work around. As we'll see now, the Chiefs navigate themselves across to where the Baron is. Lay down some vision control, not to put the pressure back onto the Direwolves.
Yeah, that's it. The way that Croc's going to be playing is definitely about supporting the rest of his team. It does give extra healing for someone like the Caitlyn for sure. They're going to be standing at similar ranges potentially at the start of these fights, but at the same time, he's going to be doing some work with Renekton there as well. You know, if he's looking to dive, he's in Cougar form, and standing in the front line to keep Tian a part of the mix is the way to look at that as a big thing here for Croc. And it's the Black Cleaver build for Tian as well. So going towards that team fighting style, the extra health, the extra cooldown reduction, not going for the Blade of the Ruined King as to win his 1v1 in a side lane. So definitely the focus here from the Chiefs is around those 5v5s.
Certainly will be, and we'll get to see if those opportunities will present themselves quite nicely. Clear's now picked himself up 8 stacks on that Dark Seal, got himself a stopwatch as well, so going to be very durable if they go for these fights, and not too predictable with his ability to find those taunted targets and allow the rest of his team to pick up the juice. We're going to see Chippy's not too far away. I believe another minion wave, and he should have level 13. Has delayed that Abyssal Mask by going for the Bramble Rush. But once level 13 is there, that's when the empowerments start to come on through. And that's when you start to look at, okay, gold lead is what it is. What does it start to mean when the likes of Infinity Edge, Ludens, and so forth get upgraded?
And we're yet to really see any major teleport influence coming out of both of these people as well here, Tian and at Chippies, as they've tended to just walk to the team fights. It's totally fine. It's just that, you know, they're not playing for anything massive in the side lane. They're both kind of selflessly playing for the rest of the team to the point where we're not worried about a teleport advantage right now. As long as there isn't a strict advantage in that TP. The way that these teams are playing right now has been very similar. One major difference here, though, is that a certain Direwolves mid laner is feeling much more confident in his decision with item choices, in that he has completed the Magi Soul Stealer, where it is just the Dark Seal for Claire still.
Yeah, Shock's expecting a big fight to break out soon. No doubt. Those ornaments we want to look for, and that spear continues to be another thing to scout out for, because they are hitting like a truck right now. The Merc Treads are there as a little bit of magic resistance to try and soften the blow, but outside of that, the fight could be pretty much over before it even began.
It's something that I think is interesting in this draft, and I'll try and get the point in before a fight breaks out, is that the damage share of both of these teams is very different. Oh, Bard is going to try and ult at the same time. I'll hold the point.
Yeah, that's going to be Claire flashing on in, finds a 4-man taunt, no chance to use that stopwatch, he falls on down. Tien is disgusting, commits the flash and gets himself a double. Rewarded fantastically for his efforts there. Brave in his execution, but successful in his style. And they will take down a whole host of Direwolves members. And they can look to get themselves another dragon and put themselves on a soul point.
Alright, that was sick. Claire channeling his inner Toby there as well. Flashing in, looking for the 4-man taunt is what he finds. Is able to win the team fight basically on himself there. Sets it up for Tian to hit that one home. and easy as you would like for the Chiefs, they're doing Drake at the same time as Baron. The notification's about to come up that reveals that Croc is at the Drake pit. And Direwolves know that the Baron is being hit. I think this is a bit of a reach. Doing both at once has given so much time to the Direwolves to respawn and walk back here. It's a bit odd. But they'll get the Drake.
Because the reset comes out from the Chiefs, the Direwolves can look to then
they could hit Baron.
Deploy all their vision and hit Baron themselves. We'll check in with this replay because for me, that 4-man taunt from Claire really gets it all going.
If Vital once again steps up trying to be frontline damage and just gives space for Claire to get into this team fight. It's big from Croc, of course, TN, the rest of the Chiefs to get into the fight and deal damage, but the taunt is what sets that up in the first place. And it's a big play there from the Chiefs for sure. And you can see what the Direwolves are trying to do, right? Your Jinx Lulu is definitely about Jinx being much more of that frontline damage dealer. But if your tanks aren't in front of the Jinx, or if your team's not actually through a choke point and they have to walk through one to get to you, then you're opening yourself up to that type of play from the Chiefs, and from a Galio specifically, and a fantastic punish from Claire, must be said.
Certainly must be, because that was a bit of a turning point, you'd have to say, that allowed the Chiefs to get so much control on the map to put themselves in a position like this where they're now threatening itself a soul point. They can get another Mountain Dragon. That is so much resistance right now. We talk about Ornn being a big benefactor of it. What's been denied big time from him. Level 13 is there, so keep an eye on his ability to dish out the goods to the rest of his team to try and give them a slight combat advantage. Because as it stands, at the 25-minute mark, it is the Chiefs that lead with a 2k gold.
So far, so good with the team fighting, with the 5v5ing from the Chiefs. That's the one thing the Direwolves really need to find themselves in if they want to come back into this game. And we're saying all of this with such small gold differences that it really is hard to say with conviction, right? Like, considering it's 11-6. Oh, here we go again.
This could be a fight that determines what the game actually looks like. A Tempered Fate takes out one. He's going to remove a second. Olaf is just trying to do whatever he can right now. Claire's had enough. He's going to disengage and jump to the aid of Tien, who is very low, sub 200 HP at the least. And fantastic initiation. The setup is clean. A fight on two different fronts on opposite sides of the mid lane itself. On both occasions, it comes up the goods here for the Chiefs. This time they're going to go across to the Baron, and with a numbers advantage to their name, making it a 5v3. They might look to commit here.
Yeah, teleport comes straight in from Tien as well to make sure they stay zoned away. Definitely committing. Tien maybe even pushing himself forwards here as well. That's all but secured now besides Shock stealing it. No chance whatsoever. And they're looking to push forwards.
They want more. They're going to use that magical journey to get themselves out of the pit and into the red buff area to say hello. And see if they can find a few more kills as Direwolves look to try and steal that away without a jungler. A difficult task to achieve, but we have seen it done before. Quick check-in, and it will be Vital that receives the first upgrade. And look at his damage, and he can look to run you down. There's the speed booster. Whimsy putting in work right now as he's looking to try and hit that zap. He does. He's successful. There's the trap from a Caitlyn. But Vital has set the master trap of them all without a red buff. He still takes him down. A delayed death at just at the Death's Dance. Dot actually killing him. Showcasing just how much damage this Jinx is able to do.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was for a second there as well. No red buff, you're right. We went through the mental checklist. It does seem like it was just going to be the Death's Dance. But once again, right, we can consistently talk about this. That's what the Direwolves can do. If you're running away from this Direwolves composition, then they're going to chase you down. You've got the Jinx, you've got a Lulu to empower it. But if the Chiefs are going forwards, which again, we should actually take this time to compliment Dragku a little bit here as well.
For sure.
Because he is just throwing the Bard ultimates, and that's what he has to do. Don't give them an opportunity. Don't give them space to deal damage to you whatsoever. Don't let the Jinx have any freedom. Throw the Bard ultimate, force summoner spells, basically off cooldown. Any opportunity that you can to punish them, even if it's a small punish. And then the next time you hit that Bard ultimate, you're able to win the team fight afterwards. Basically gives them Baron off the back of an ult from Dragku.
He's not giving the Direwolves any chance to think, set up, realize, okay, what is our objective in this fight? How do you want to play it? What do we want to do given the positioning right now of the Chiefs? This is a big dragon for the Chiefs, bear in mind. 20 seconds, and they can put themselves on a Mountain Soul. The battle for mid lane continues.
Direwolves still definitely wrestling for that control of mid lane priority, and a lot of it being seeded still by the Chiefs, except for the Bard ulti. Here we go again.
There we go again, indeed. He doesn't miss. Both flash out. They do not want to be caught on that one. The redemption goes down. It will be enough to top these members up. Chippy's forced to back away. And Tien on the flank, popping that Dominus, hoping for the best. But now it's the turnarounds. They catch out Katsuri. He's evaporated. He's gone. Sinja takes up the Caitlyn. They're going to find a second as Vital runs them down. Draku is gone. The Chiefs thought they'd won that team fight. They thought they had disengaged. Tino turn around without that ultimate and finally take out the AD carry. But all flashes on his head and bops one. Olaf takes out a second. And the Direwolves have brought it to the late game. They've brought it to 30 minutes. They will not give Chiefs that win condition, and they will get the first ace.
They may have taken down Vital, but he has done so much damage by that point that the team fight was still a victory for the Direwolves. Anything left for the Chiefs was an afterthought. You thought maybe Croc could apply some damage, not going to be enough. Ornn standing in front's going to zone them away, and Lulu picks make sure that kill exists as well. But this turnaround from Direwolves was necessary. Remember that Mountain Soul Point is on the line. Vital plays frontline, gets the Lulu power up, and an Ornn ultimate hits, and that's it. He is now 1v3ing with Decoy's shields, as the rest of the team of the Direwolves was dealing with Claire and Tien. They weren't hitting the carry of the Direwolves because he was so far in the front line that their combo missed. He's able to get the team fight from that as Shock comes through to make sure the damage is dealt, and Chippy's locks it down in the front line.
This is what we got told to look forward to when Vital entered the league. He's a young Korean ADC prodigy. He plays aggressive. He wants to get in your face. He's frontlining as an AD carry. And as much as we can heap praise on him for getting the job done and drawing all the attention of the Chiefs members to take him down, the amount of damage they had behind him after that just allowed the Direwolves to find that first ace. A fantastic turnaround, a baited disengage that allows them to not only deny away the soul point, but more ornaments, more time. That's a Rabadon's cap now being upgraded in the mid lane for Shock, who also has actually got himself 19 stacks on that Magi's.
We're just getting a lot of like the duality of team fighting out of the Chiefs here as well, right? Direwolves do seem to be a one-directional type of team in the way that they're going to play this game out. As once again looking, they're on Tien.
They certainly are, and without a flash and without an opportunity to use that Dominus, he is going to fall to a swift death. He's out for 45 seconds. Baron is up in just under 90. And with these healthy members of the Direwolves out for blood, ready and rolling into the late game, they have got one objective in mind, and that's push through the mid.
And Katsuri has to be super careful, trying to clear that wave at all. A Syndra stun is all it would take to lock him down. And Vital's range and damage right now being at 3 items, one of them Ornn empowered, and even having the BF Sword and QSS to follow. I mean, he'll one-tap carries if there's ever an opportunity for Vital to be hitting them. So they have to respect. They willingly concede the objective here as well, so the mid lane inhibitor is just going to fall for free. Chiefs now trying to get themselves back onto the map on the bottom side river. Maybe just looking for a punish, because they're not on the correct side of the map objectively speaking. There is a Baron up in about a minute, so they want to put their focus towards that for sure. It seems like just looking for picks if they could.
Certainly are looking for picks, and it's Vital once again, the madman himself, just frontlining, saying, get out. I've got red buff. Got myself a QSS. I'm not going to be an easier target to take on down. Bear in mind, he doesn't have any of his summoners. No flash, no heal. Katsuri will have that over him, so could be an opportunity for him to utilize his protection. But he won't have that cleanse available to him, so flash is going to be crucial.
Yeah. I mean, this whole game is going to revolve around, does Vital live or die? You know, there's definitely damage to take the Jinx out. The QSS will help him a little bit, but like you mentioned, no summoners means there's a lot of problems. If you were Direwolves, I think you do just wait for that flash. You know, there's going to be a point, because 4 of you don't have it currently. There's going to be a point with this Drake in 1 minute and 40 seconds where you might not have a choice. And if you can set up, that's fine. You know, there's a Baron right now if the Chiefs choose to pressure it, and Bard ultimates could come out left, right, and center. But I would rather wait for the Jinx to have flash than force anything drastic right now, as he is the bread and butter of your comp. He's going to carry.
Certainly is, and look what he just picked up there, Rusty. He's got himself now a Bloodthirster, a ton of lifesteal, the big shield that goes on your head as well, and if they can get a Mountain Soul to boot as well, well, you know, you're going to have to try and kill him twice, basically, at this stage of the game. He's got a full item over that of the Caitlyn. He's well on his way to getting that full item build there. Whoa, he's going to be the one that gets caught out. He doesn't have that flash. This could be huge right now. Can he run? Can he live? Can he survive? Everybody turns their attention onto Olaf, but he gets the reset. He's got the movement speed. Forget the flash. I've got a ghost on cooldown. It is working overtime right now as Tien tries to be the hero, the savior of the day, but it just will not be enough. His entire team have crumbled to the ground. 4 members fall on through. The Tempered Fate, they thought they had it. It had worked all game long. But this time it is not proving successful. They've invested in to kill the vital train. And he says, you can try and kill me, but have you forgotten what the rest of my team can do? That's a very fed Syndra. That is a terrifying Ornn. And this is a terrifying team. The Direwolves will take out the Chiefs in 34 minutes.
I mean, it's a big win for the Direwolves here as well. That makes them 2-0 on the day, Skimmy. They beat Order, they beat the Chiefs. They've not only secured themselves a position in playoffs through both of those game victories, but now they've taken down the Chiefs. They're threatening for the 4th place position. So now it's on the Chiefs to come back against Legacy in that last game of the day. If they want to secure that spot, Direwolves have done everything they possibly can to secure that place.
They certainly have, and Chiefs will be definitely looking to try and regather their mental, get themselves ready for the final game of the season, because they'll be up against Legacy to close out the night. But before that, we have one more. We've got Avant taking on Pentanet.gg. We'll see you soon.
Today is the NeoSurf Cup, and we're going to be playing against Misfits, so hopefully we can bring home the win.
NeoSurf is simple, safe and secure. You can go to your local shop and get a voucher code and use it online, preferably to buy League of Legends skins.
It's got it! This is deadly! It's got it!
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.
Go, go, go!